Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Olipa Katongo Kunda. In case it's the first time you're seeing my face, welcome to my channel. So I just wanted us to have like a little chit chat session. It's a very impromptu video. I didn't really plan to do this, but I'm about to have a snack, a meal commonly called 16 here in Zambia. So I thought, why not open my camera and talk to you guys? So let me show you what I'm having. I am having some vegetable stir fry here, which has vegetables. It has eggplants and mushrooms and some beef in it and some yellow rice and a samosa and a slice of bread. It sounds like a lot, right? It really isn't. This is literally a snack, you guys. Oh my god. And of course, tea. You guys already know I love me some tea. This is bussin'. This is good. So I've really been thinking about something. Like, I've really been thinking about the concept of humbleness, or of being humble, being a humble person, and how I feel like that word is extremely misused, especially in Zambia, especially in my communities. That word is extremely misused, and I don't think it is used correctly, right? So let me tell you what people in Zambia consider humble. One, somebody who is rich, comes from a rich background, comes from a rich family, but doesn't look rich or doesn't talk rich. They would consider that person to be humble. They'll say, oh my god, that guy is so humble. Right? Number two, people who have nothing are also considered humble. We hear the term humble beginnings. What are humble beginnings actually? It's so crazy to me because I think it takes away from the purity of what it really means to be humble and what it looks like to be a humble person. In a discussion I had with some of my girlfriends while we were discussing the book of Ruth, was studying the book of Ruth in the Bible, and the point came up of saying that they felt, some members of the group thought that Ruth displayed humbleness, especially at the point when she went to pick the leftover corn in the field, that was her displaying humbleness. And I sharply disagreed, and I still am in that place of saying I disagree, that was not an act of humbleness. The fact of the matter is she needed to pick that corn. If not, her and her mother-in-law would not have eaten. It was nothing about being humble. She needed to do that. It was for her own sake, right? However, I think the owner of the farmland is the one who was humble because he allowed her to do that for her own benefit. It did not benefit him in any way, right? He was not going to be the one to take that food. He was not going to be the one to eat from that food. But it didn't benefit him, but he allowed her to do that. I feel like in that way he was serving her. And that is what humbleness to me really is. I think that humbleness is more of a posture of the heart than an outward look. It's a posture of the heart that in turn will produce fruits outwardly. So I mean, when you are a humble person, when you are humble of heart, the way that you talk to other people, the way that you treat other people, it will start to reflect that humbleness in you. And it does not mean that because you are humble, you shouldn't have money, or you shouldn't look nice, you shouldn't spend your money. I really, really do not believe that is what being humble means. Many times we have heard people say you should be humble before the Lord, right? So if you're going to use the idea that you being humble means you're not showing off your materialness or your material assets, how will you be humble before the Lord? Because your material things mean nothing to God. They mean nothing to God. So how will you show your humbleness to Him if money has been removed from the equation? I feel like that would work even just in our human interaction. How would we be able to depict a person who's humble or not if the science or the idea of haves and have-nots is completely removed? If we were all equal, nobody has or nobody has not, how would we be able to determine who is humble? And that is where my thoughts come from. I really feel like being humble, first of all, is something that you have to be very intentional about. It's something you must really, really be intentional about, because you will not always know when you are not being humble, right? And you will not always know when you are being humble. I draw from the example of when Jesus Christ washed the feet of his disciples and he humbled himself before them. What that humbling himself meant was he served them. He treated himself, or he placed himself below them like a servant. He did the work of the lowliest person, not because he needed to. And I feel like that's the main point. When you have to do something that may be low, does not make you humble. There is nothing like humble beginnings. You have to, because you've got no money. You've got no job. You have to be at that level. Doesn't make you humble. If you had the choice, you would be the big shot that you want to be, but you don't have that choice. And that is why many times we hear people saying, hey, after that person changed, they became a big shot, they started doing what. No, they didn't change. It's because you thought they are humble when they had nothing. And to be honest, I feel like I have the same sentiments when it comes to the concept of submission. Oh my God. I don't even think I want to get into this in detail, because submission is a very touchy subject. In Zambia, in Africa, it's a very touchy subject. Me being a woman, me being a young woman, being a Christian woman, submission to thine husband is something that has been talked about before I could even understand what the word submission means. And as I've gotten older, I'm starting to see that the way that the world describes submission, or the way the world wants us to think submission looks like, is not really what it is. Even in the Bible, even in Christianity, the way that submission is meant to be is not how it is being described or how it is being forced upon young ladies. Also, people forget that submission is not only for women. Men need to submit to God. And as a woman, if you find a man who doesn't know how to submit to God, you cannot submit to him. It's impossible. It will ruin you. Run.
Run.
I just think some of these concepts are things we need to be vigilant about learning, reading on, praying about them. Ask the Holy Spirit to open your mind and your eyes to what does God actually want me to do in this area? How does He want me to become better? How does He want me to change? So that you are not swayed by what the world says or what the world thinks. You cannot be defined by how the world defines things. We are not of the world. So you must be different in the way that you will carry out things, the way you will conduct yourself, and the way you will experience different things. This vegetable stir fry is so good. It's so good. Those of you who would want a recipe, let me just tell you real quick. It's eggplants and oyster mushrooms, You start with the eggplants. You fry up the eggplants. As they're getting ready, you put in the oyster mushrooms, some onions, some beef strips in there. If you have carrots, go ahead and throw that in as well. And the only spices you need is salt and black pepper. That's it. Magnifique. That today, I remember that I'm a baddie. I decided to be my best baddie self, and I painted my nails. I don't know if you can see that. I did my nails in this beautiful army green, which I love. It's my favorite nail polish. But then I forgot that I needed to do my laundry. So I painted my nails and then had to go and wash. So now my nail polish looks like it's been on for like 2 weeks. But regardless, I feel like I'm just going to touch it up. I think it's just like really minor touch-ups, especially at the tips of the nails. Well, there you have it. I'm all done with my meal, which was delicious. It was bussing. I have enjoyed it so much, and thank you so much for spending these 15 minutes with me, as well, maybe less than 15 minutes after I edited as I was having my 16. If you have any comments or want to say anything in addition or subtraction to what I was talking about today, please make sure to comment and tell me what you think. What are your thoughts? Let's chat. Until next time, bye.